Dr Al Zeitoun is a highly competent and internationally experienced leader, portfolio, program and project manager. He has a Bachelor of Science and a PhD in Civil Engineering and is fluent in the English, German and Arabic languages. His professional work experience has primarily been in the USA and the Middle East and has board experience such as the International Board of Directors of the Project Management Institute. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, good to see you and good to be here.
What makes a great project manager?
You know, the art and science of managing a project is interesting. You know, I've been around the field of projects and project management almost my entire career. And what makes a good project manager at the end of the day is that caliber of the person. You can learn all the mechanics and tactics. You can draw the best network diagram. You can have the best understanding of what it takes to manage the finances of the project and have the right matrix to drive what kind of a team you're going to have, etc. But at the end of the day, if you're not a person who is able to drive, able to lead, and able to realize that at the end of the day, your success hinges around alignment. A successful PM is an aligner. He's an integrator, a person who is working across stakeholders day in, day out, and ensuring that he's reading what is required very well. There is no such thing as under-communicating. You got to, of course there is under-communicating. Over-communicating is what I mean, is that you have got to ensure that you got to communicate once and twice and make sure you are crisp and clear around where we're going, how we're going to get there, and ensuring that others are driven in that same direction.
What made your career take off as a project manager?
You know, the topic of career is quite an interesting topic, and you know, there are multiple reasons why my career really turned into project management. I think the best reason for why my career took off in that direction is watching my own dad. Chemical engineer, you know, could have easily been focused on the technical attributes, yet he realized that what he learned in that particular engineering field has got to do more with having a system view of the world, of the problem at hand, of the context of the issue, etc. So watching him in action and realizing that when you create an impact as a project manager, you are actually achieving outcomes, tangible outcomes, intangible outcomes, creation of a change, makes it exciting. I'm the kind of a person who, at the end of the day, want to see change. All of us dream of changing the world. You have a vehicle and almost a complete roadmap to get you to change via the kinds of initiatives we take, whether we call them projects, whether we call them strategic initiatives. That made me realize my opportunity to be a strong leader, a strong project manager, a strong program manager hinges around being in a position to utilize the mechanics of project management, but more important, to align people towards a common goal. There's nothing more inspiring to me to see people fired up. It's a great way to create energy. It's a great way to also make tough decisions that at the end of the day will either get us the success we want or get us the learning and the lessons learned that we could possibly build on in the future.
What is the best advice you ever given as a project manager?
You know, when I reflect back on what kind of an advice really helped me the most as a project manager, I find myself almost having to go back to that best advice, which is be a sponge. At the beginning, I didn't realize what does that mean, but then I realized this entirely made a lot of sense, because as a project manager, you're not going to be the technical expert in every field. You're going to be a person who will rely on others, who's going to have to trust others, who's going to say, okay, I'm talented in being clear on a mission, I'm talented in organizing and becoming the orchestra for that journey, yet at the end of the day I'm not going to have it all. So that was a starting advice. Other advice was very key to my life when I had a very good colleague and a friend, Dr. Kersner, say to me that as a project manager, the worst thing you can do is to really think that you're going to go on a path and keep progressing on that path, technically speaking, towards becoming a strong project manager. So I had to dig, what do you mean by that? He said, basically, I will never hire a person who just knows one thing and one topic or one area of expertise only. So he says, rotate, think about pushing yourself and applying yourself across different industries, different areas of geographies, etc. It is so limiting, when you as a project manager continue to look at the world from one view, from one angle, looking at the view from just being an engineer or a certain part of engineering, or the fact that you're working in pharmaceutical or working in IT, and thinking that this is the same set of rules that's going to apply across everybody else. So openness on the sponsor side and diversification of background, working across different boundaries, areas of expertise, you build yourself a repository of knowledge. You build yourself a context that is nicely spread, that allows you to have that sensitivity, whether it's globally, whether it's across industries, whether it's really realizing that people are different, managing expectations is different, and I've got to be in a place where I can stay the course and stay capable of providing the right fit and the right alignment towards success of a given project.
Is getting qualifications and certifications important for a career in project management?
You know, one of the interesting topics, the topic of accreditation and certification, I do believe in the value. I just want to make sure that, if I have to give an advice on the topic, that I would not get carried away with that. I want to invest in myself, invest in my knowledge, ensure that the accreditation is credible, that the group or the institute that is providing that has a track record, has a standard behind it, has a methodology possibly that drives the successful implementation of projects. Yet you've got to make sure that no matter how well certified you are, how well educated you are, the rubber has to hit the road. You've got to be able to see how that's all going to fit together in building the caliber of a person you are, in building your mental set, skill set, your capability to drive. I would choose in any given day a person who has invested in his or her emotional intelligence much more than a person who just invests in his or her IQ. They are important to enhance your capability in that regard, but at the end of the day, if you're not able to turn it around and combine it with who you are as a social human being who is able to drive and move others so that you can move these mountains, you are not going to be as successful as a PM.
What do you recommend to other project managers starting their career?
The topic of this whole project management area or field is quite unique. I mean, we've been managing projects since the beginning of times. We've had the pyramids, we've had all other projects around the world that are magnificent projects. Even before the time when we had the tools, we had the technology, or we had even the networking diagrams or PERT or any of the discoveries along the way that we've utilized in the science and art of project management. The person who's aspiring to be a PM is generally a person who wants to take risks, a person who is saying, I am not into statics. I'm a dynamic person. I'm a person who believes in change, a person who likes to transform, a person who is able to use the projects almost as a lab. It's kind of like a crazy idea I've always had. I said, project management is like, it's an art of using the project, the context of what we are trying to accomplish, to test a few things. You're testing, different dynamics of people. You're testing a different way to organize this project. There's no one set way of doing it. So someone who's aspiring to be a good, strong PM has got to realize that he or she are going to be pushing themselves out there. Out there what? Out there in terms of experimenting, in terms of understanding that it's almost like a mix of this, a mix of that, with a bit of assumptions here, with a bit of taking risks there, with a bit of tweaks when it comes to achieving quality. It's really exciting. It's not about a person limiting himself or herself to a very straightforward path when it comes to career, when it comes to aspirations for work or job, etc. It's about finding yourself in a place where I say, hey, I really, really enjoy achieving change. I truly enjoy working with others. I truly enjoy seeing outcomes correlated to efforts and initiatives at hand. So, as an aspiring PM, put yourself out there, get into tough positions, ensure that you're going to experiment, ensure that you're going to learn, and use those strong wins and lessons learned along the way to continue being excited about what you do, where you want to go, and how you're changing others along the way.
Do you think project management helps a career as a company director or board director?
My dream has always been actually around the area of project management to make sure that that's an area of big impact. For about 30 years, just about a good portion or an entire portion of my career, after one mission when it comes to project management is ensuring that project management is a recognized skill in the top suite of executive teams of organizations, and especially on a board of directors. Why is that? Is it just because of a certain passion about that profession? No. It's about, at the end of the day, who do I want to have on a board? Who do I want to have on a paid or non-paid board? At the end of the day, I want people who are able to see the big picture. Who is the most capable person? If he or she has invested in asking the right questions along the way, then the project manager to be in that position. Why? Well, he's not going to be making judgments based on one unique view or one agenda or one set of assumptions. No, he or she would have gone through the rigor of looking across organizations, looking across teams, having likely worked in a matrix setting, having likely dealt with tough positions, having dealt with successes, failures, having dealt with understanding how to make decisions given unknowns and uncertainties. What better board member would I want to have than a person who has widened his or her repository of knowledge, has widened their ability of making proper judgments based on data sets, based on changing dynamics, than having those kind of individuals be on a board. At the end of the day, governance is one of the key responsibilities of a board of directors. What does a PM do the most for us? He or she is governing where the project is going, but also aligning a strategy to results. At the end of the day, it's a very strategic skill set. We're not talking about the mechanics and tactics of doing project work. We're talking about one person. He or she are working on strategic, very serious objectives of organizations, translating that via a set of tools, via a set of practices, via a skill set, etc., to results. So at the end of the day, a strong board member, in my view, has the potential to come from the trenches of project management. It's a place where nurturing of the required board member skills can and should take place.
Thank you very much for your time.
I really enjoyed the opportunity to be with you today. Whether we are talking about building attributes of leadership, whether we are talking about strengthening our project management skills, the chance is there for us to expand ourselves, test ourselves, test our ability to align others towards common goals, and eventually keeping ourselves focused on achieving outcomes that are meaningful, that have been tested, that align to strategies, and that have the potential of transforming others or outcomes. Thank you very much.